Hello, good evening. Happy new month of September, and you're watching RwandaTV News live from Kigali, Rwanda. We'll begin with the headlines. The First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, emphasized that gorillas play a big role in the country's economic development, hence are to be preserved. Foreigners in Rwanda participating in the 19th edition of Kwitizina demonstrates that the tourism development rate in Rwanda explains the resilience and foreseeing of Rwandans. Hello, I'm Olive Nete. We are going straight to the news in details. We'll start by telling you that the President of the Republic, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Rwanda Defense Force, His Excellency Paul Kagame, held a meeting with recent retired generals and senior officers and thanked them for their service. The retired senior officers thanked the President for his leadership and committed to continuing their contribution to Rwanda's transformation through their respective expertise and the mentoring of younger generations. Now, moving ahead, this evening at Urugwiro village, President Kagame received Cyril Borole, CEO of the Borole Transport and Logistics, to discuss the company's current and future investments in Rwanda, and the French business leader named his baby gorilla Mugisha at the 19th Kwitizina ceremony earlier today. President Kagame also received Idris Elba, British actor, musician and producer, and Sabrina, I beg your pardon, Canadian model and activist who is UN Goodwill Ambassador for IFAD, to discuss opportunities for partnerships in developing the creative arts industry. The couple named the baby gorilla Narame at the 19th Kwitizina ceremony, which took place in Kinigi today. President Paul Kagame met with the UNESCO Director General and her delegation. The UNESCO Director General named her baby gorilla in Shingano at the 19th gorilla naming ceremony this morning. Moving ahead, the First Lady of Rwanda, Jeannette Kagame, emphasized that gorillas play a big role in the country's economic development, hence are to be preserved. The First Lady made the remarks in the 19th edition of the Kwitizina. Prince Manzi with the details.
In this 19th edition of Kwitizina, 23 baby gorillas born in these last 12 months were named. The namers included Rwandans and foreigners, worldwide celebrities and environmental conservationists. The First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, the guest of honor in this event, emphasized that considering that humans cannot persist without nature, conservation is the only gratitude to this precious gift humans have.
Conservation is the first layer of gratitude that we must express for a Mother Nature that has granted us survival, shelter, nourishment, and wonder from our very first days as a species. It seems almost unbelievable that while this earth is humanity's most precious gift, its sources and origin of life, we have found the recklessness to abuse it over and over again. Because, as we all know, as has been stated by the conservation experts that have spoken before me, nature will persist without us, but we cannot persist without it.
Some of this year's baby gorillas namers point out that this event demonstrates Rwanda's aim of biodiversity conservation.
Gorilla conservation is about preservation. Preservation of our history, of our cultures, so that our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren can inherit a world filled with the same beauty and wonder that we have access to today. I am so proud and I am so absolutely grateful for the work that Rwanda is doing in the space of gorilla conservation. To me, all of you and this beautiful country are also Inter-Rumikwa. You are all shining examples from your history to the work that you are doing today and will continue to do.
And we are committed to support tourism of Rwanda. It was mentioned in today's speeches many times, responsibility, conservation and tourism, and count on our full support. We are here to support Rwanda tourism and very happy what the government and you all are doing here. I see youth and As you know, 70% of the population of Africa is youth and under 30 years old. So we are committed in our responsibility to support them and to invest in education and to create new jobs.
Since its launch in 2005, the Kwitizina ceremony was tangibly impactful in the development of the country. The Northern Province Administration and the Rwanda Development Board demonstrate that the generated income is invested in various activities in sectors namely agriculture and infrastructure and supported the development of citizens. For this edition, there was an inauguration of a project of constructing a maternity room and a designed area for sweet potato seed multiplication. Here, the Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Development Board, Claire Kamanzi, demonstrates that investing in nature benefits the citizens and the planet at large.
When we invest in nature, we are also investing in ourselves because our environment is the foundation of our economy. This is why Rwanda invests heavily in building an ecotourism industry that benefits both our people and our planet. Nature-based tourism has been the cornerstone of our recovery since the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm happy to share that we are set to exceed our pre-pandemic tourism revenues this year, 2023.
The First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Janet Kagame, emphasized that gorillas are more than a source of income.
To us, mountain gorillas represent more than a source of tourism or adventurous entertainment. To us, our gorillas are custodians of a nature we truly cherish.
374 baby gorillas were named since 2005, and the biodiversity in the volcanoes park increased by 23%. The Kwitizina ceremony also contributed in the development of residents, where 1,000 projects were invested in, more than 10 billion Rwanda francs. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Still speaking on matters of Kwitizina, foreigners in Rwanda participating in the 19th edition of the Kwitizina demonstrates that the tourism development rate in Rwanda explains the resilience and foreseeing of Rwandans. Prince Manzi continues.
Renowned English actor Idris Elba was last in Rwanda in 2005. To him, the Rwanda's fast rate of development sets an example for African nations, truly fitting its geographically generated name, Heart of Africa.
I've been to Rwanda before. I came in 2005, and this is my second time here. And I cannot believe how much Rwanda has grown and has become a shining example for Africa. Geographically, where Rwanda is situated represents the heart of Africa, and you are definitely the heart of Africa.
Apart from this year's Kwitizina namers, in general, international visitors were pleased by Rwanda's remarkable contribution to environmental conservation. This is Mike and Anne Howard, known for their honey trek vlogs.
It was an absolutely beautiful ceremony. There was so much energy. It felt so inclusive to have the entire community here dancing and just, and delegates from around the world to honor the incredible conservation work Rwanda is doing.
So it's really important to us to be here to witness all the sustainability efforts that Rwanda is doing, and it's truly an inspiration to the rest of the world. I think in 2 days we go up to the volcano mountains to see the gorillas.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Development Board, Claire Kamanzi, appreciates namers for they have amplified the voice of nature conservation on a global scale.
Today, we gave a name, we gave an identity, and we gave a future to 23 new baby gorillas who only a few decades ago were threatened by extinction. To our distinguished namers, you have amplified the voice of nature conservation on a global scale. We thank you. I know that you're all very busy people and have very busy careers, but I do hope that, like any good parent, you will find the balance and make time to come and check on your baby gorillas regularly and help us raise them into responsible adults.
The government of Rwanda demonstrates that it always supports communities around the park in conservation and preservation, as these are critical for such milestone events to take place. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. And moving ahead, still on the Kwitizina celebration, during the 19th edition of Kwitizina, a young girl of 13 years of age made history as the youngest Nema ever to participate at the baby gorilla naming ceremony in Kinigi, Musanze district. Take a look. Elvini Neza, a young girl studying in primary 6 at Regina Pacis School in Musanze district, made history today at the prestigious event of Kwitizina.
Izina nahisemo kumwita ni Niwagwire.
The name I chose to give the baby gorilla is Niwagwire. The reason why I chose the name is my wish to the family of Sigasira to expand and multiply. It is such an honor for me as female Rwandan to be given this prestigious moment to name a baby gorilla. I will continue to urge my colleagues to love and preserve the environment and also to promote tourism. Thank you. Particularly today, the majority of baby gorillas named were female. Additionally, the number of residents who participated was also higher compared to the previous event. More than 30,000 residents attended. They share how they enjoyed today's Kwitizina celebration.
Among the things that touched my heart is how our guests were received. I mean the namers from foreign countries. I also like the cleanliness of this area where the event was carried out.
The ceremony of naming baby gorillas, namely Kwitizina, is an internationally renowned event where celebrities from around the world continues to express their interest in visiting Rwanda, as Kylian Mbappé, a renowned footballer, expressed in his message.
You can also visit the baby gorilla that I and my teammates named in 2021, Baby Ngeri. I can't wait to see you in Rwanda soon, just like the baby gorilla named by our legend Bernard Lama and my friend Joachim Noah.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Development Board, Claire Kamanzi, commended the efforts of the communities living around the park for their commitment to conserve the environment. She also noted that the 20th edition of Kwitizina will be unprecedented.
To our communities that live around the national park, who host us every year, you are our strength. You are the true champions of conservation. Your commitment to protecting the mountain gorillas and, of course, being good neighbors to them is the reason we celebrate success today. The 20th anniversary of Kwitizina will feature a series of celebrations to mark our 2-decade journey of protecting mountain gorillas. Please mark your calendars for next year.
Residents from Rubavu, Nyabihu, Burera and Musanze sectors were facilitated to reach the venue of the event because an additional 40 buses were at their disposal and returned them back to their sectors. Wow, such a nice event. Now, experts in environment conservation and protection say that as the years go by, there are ecosystems that are on the verge of extinction due to neglect, and yet they are vital. They request the government to increase efforts in educating people about the importance of preserving the environment. This is among the findings of the research carried out in Nyungwe National Park. We have the report. In Nyungwe National Park, certain species such as frogs, lizards and bats are on the verge of extinction. The ecosystem is not effectively preserved, despite the fact that it is crucial to the preservation of crops and the control of pests.
Frogs are among the species that can help reduce insects that cause diseases such as mosquitoes and other pests that can infect crops. Frogs are also important in the food web. It can also be food to birds such as ostrich.
Researchers say that there are various ways in which the ecosystem can be protected and exploited.
Rwanda
is working on restoring some wetlands, for example, the Nyandungu Eco Park, and others such as Rugezi, as well as other forests. Yes, some efforts that the country is doing also needs a big amount of money, but through research carried out, we noticed that by identifying certain ecosystem and also know all the living organisms that live in it, can help you to know the nature of that ecosystem without using money. We did a research recently and found that in some of the damaged wetlands, there are species such as frogs that can't be found in any other eco park. Whenever you see that kind of frog, it tells you the nature of that wetland.
Professor Beth Kaplan, the director of the Center of Excellence in Biodiversity and Natural Resources Management at the University of Rwanda, point out that although the Rwandan government has already done many things regarding preserving the environment, there is need to double efforts in educating people about the importance of the ecosystem.
So neglected biodiversity, we can define it as species that we don't pay a lot of attention to. And a great example is Rwanda. What are the species we pay attention to? The mountain gorilla, the big five in Akagera, and golden monkeys and all these beautiful animals. But the neglected species are these amazing species we have that are sometimes overlooked. Sometimes people might be afraid of them. They don't understand them. But these species are incredibly important. So for example, the flying insects, we had a whole group studying flying insects in Nyungwe. These are insects that are pollinators, critically important for the honey that we love here in the country, for getting our crops in the country, for fruit trees. And we know very little about them, so we really want to do more with that. The other thing are the frogs and snakes play incredibly important roles, and we know little about them. Those are also neglected. Another neglected are bats. I'm sure that many people know bats as very fearful, scary mammals, but they're actually incredibly important. They eat a lot of insects like mosquitoes, so they can actually keep costs down and keep chemical pesticides out of the environment because they play a role in eating insects. They are also pollinators, some of them. They're also seed dispersers, so they do natural regeneration. So these are neglected species that are incredibly important and that we're really trying to understand better and document here in the country.
Experts in environment conservation have been conducting research in Nyungwe National Park and in the community around for the past 2 weeks. However, this is the third time that a study of this kind has been carried out to demonstrate what can be done to save the ecosystem that contains both aquatic and terrestrial plants. Researchers are from various countries around the world. And on behalf of the entire news production team that helped us prepare this for you, thank you for staying with us and enjoy September.